Why not make a Bitcoin only app? The idea was one to make it like really, really easy for newbies to really get started with the first Bitcoin.
The first year you were basically non-existing.
It took us almost 2 years before we had like our first trade on the platform. There will be so many new business opportunities that we cannot even imagine now. Over 60% of people are really doing self-custody. What we are seeing is
you not only are in Bitcoin, you also founded a Bitcoin-only company. Why was Bitcoin so special to you that you even founded a company?
Yeah, good question. I guess it was a long journey for me. So I heard about Bitcoin the first time in 2011. I was still in school at that time, and we had a classmate who was paying his servers with Bitcoin. At this time, I think he paid like hundreds of Bitcoins every month just for his running his servers. And this was my first touch point, but I didn't really got into it and forgot about it. I was very young then. And I heard about it 2 years later, so 2013. I guess there was this whole like Silk Road story, and I thought it was very interesting that there is some like currency on the internet, and I thought to myself, okay, interesting, how does this work? And I also downloaded like a torrent or a Onion browser and surfed like Silk Road and had a look on it. But yeah, I tried, and then I really tried to buy like some Bitcoin to just you see how it is, but it was really hard. So back then I was in Vienna and I joined local Bitcoins. This was I think they discontinued their service, but this was like a P2P platform where you can meet like people who are doing cash for Bitcoin trades. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's like a bit scammy. I don't know how to do it. So I forgot about it again. And then it was, I think, 2017, early in the year, when Bitcoin hit the $1,000 threshold again. And I saw an article online and thought to myself, okay, this thing Bitcoin is still here, and the price has gone up dramatically and reached $1,000 again. And this was when I really digged into it. So I started to like listening to podcasts, reading every article that I got, and I really fell down the rabbit hole then. And yeah, so this was like my Bitcoin journey, and I tried to really orange pill some of my friends and also some of my family members, and some of them wanted to buy Bitcoin, and there was no really easy way to do it in Europe back then. So I thought to myself, end of 2019, why not make it simple? Why not make a Bitcoin only app so that you don't have these problems like you tell someone about Bitcoin, they are ready to buy their first coins, and then you send them to like an exchange, and they come back 2 weeks later and tell you that they have bought Bitcoin Cash because it was cheaper and it was advertised on this platform, and all of these problems. And then the idea was born to make it like really, really easy for newbies and also for beginners to really get started with the first Bitcoin. Also have no distraction. And this was end of 2019 once the idea for 21 Bitcoin has started. Yeah.
And how was it to found a Bitcoin company? I mean, founding a company in itself is a hurdle and is a challenge. But were there any special hurdles in founding a Bitcoin company inside of the European Union, which is highly regulated with all that stuff?
Yeah, back then, so end of 2019, there was no real regulation. So we started this idea, and also like we did some prototyping when there was no clear regulation. So the first regulation that also included Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies was back in early 2020. So when the financial or like the Anti-Money Laundering Act with the number 5 came into Austrian law, then this was the first time that Bitcoin was really regulated in Europe and also in Austria. And yeah, I can remember it was really like discussing this also with the regulator. How should we do it? Which service do we really want to make? Which laws apply here? And it was like really figuring out which laws you have to follow in the first 6 months. So we didn't really know how to craft the business model so that we have like a regulatory certainty. And yeah, everything was really like in the baby steps there. And it was like it took us almost 1 year to really get like the first registration from the Financial Market Authority.
So the first year you were basically non-existing?
Basically, we founded a company, not like the company that we have now, but yeah, it's called Einzelunternehmen in Austria. So yeah, you have all the liability as a person, as a natural person there, and we just try to figure it out how to do it and which laws we have to really follow. And yeah, it took us really like, I would say, almost 2 years before we had like our first trade on the platform. So I guess this is not the typical startup maybe. And yeah, basically we came right in the moment when the regulation started.
I think I also saw that. I think it was an article in the Red Bull magazine. The 21bitcoin tries to get the MICA license in the beginning of 2025. Like, what is that in the beginning? I myself don't know, and I think most people are not heavily invested in that. And how will it change 21bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically the regulatory landscape right now is pretty fragmented over Europe. So every country has basically their own rules. So if you offer a service in Germany, for example, you have to register with the BaFin there. That's the regulator that also oversees like banks and other financial companies. And in Austria, it's called the Finanzmarktaufsicht, FMA. So, and basically every country has some kind of general rules, but they are different. So if you want to really offer your service in all of the countries in Europe or even in the European Union, you have to go like to every regulator in every country and register a license there, basically, which is like really time consuming. Also from a legal perspective, you have to have really good lawyers in each country. You have to have like a company in each country. So it's basically not doable for a startup. But this is changing with MICA. So MICA is like a European regulation. This will also be like a Verordnung. That means that it is valid for the whole European Union. So the individual countries don't have to like make their own rules and laws to implement it. And with that, once you get like the MICA license, you can really offer your service in a regulated way in all of the countries in Europe.
And to offer it in a regulated way is the must. Like, you have to do it in a regulated way, otherwise you run in the risk of the businesses just getting shut down by the regulators, right?
Yes, yeah. Basically, if you want to advertise your service in one of the countries in the European Union, you have to have this license. Yeah.
Are there any effects on the end consumer that are now not implemented in the 21bitcoin app that might come in the next 2-3 years with that license?
Yeah, basically, maybe for 21 Bitcoin customers, not so much. So we have like a legal setup which is really solid, I guess. So we designed all our from a technical point and also from a legal standpoint, we designed that we separate customer funds with company funds, which is now a must under MICA. But now you could like commingle it, so there's no like law that you have to separate it. But we have like done some really many things to make it like easier for us to transition to MICA, and also which we think is in our best interest for our customers. So maybe everybody knows like the story of FTX and Celsius and BlockFi and all of the US-based companies there. So they like had no segregation with their funds. So they gambled with customer funds, and yeah, that's not possible with 21bitcoin because we have like a trustee agreement with our customers. So every euro and every Bitcoin or BTC you have on our platform is really owned by you. So even in the case that we go broke tomorrow, all of the assets are there and also like separated from our company funds. So I guess this is one big topic, which is also good, I think, in my opinion, to have like crypto services to adhere to that. But for the end customer, I guess it's also like more transparency. You have to have like guidelines. How does the price come into being on your platform? So there's a lot of like customer focused transparency measures that you have to have. Also, like one thing is you have capital requirements. You cannot run a crypto business without having like a baseline of capital, and also that changes with how much money you work with, just to make it more safe. So I guess a lot of the regulations here with MICA come from the learnings that we had over the past 3 to 4 years.
It's interesting because a lot of the regulations are like inside of an fiat system that is somewhat on the opposite side of a Bitcoin system, and it's almost like there's like a leak out of the fiat system, and the fiat system is regulating how the fiat is leaking out of that system and going into this new system Bitcoin, for a really long-term view. Like I'm talking 50, 100 years. Do you see any future where a 21bitcoin app service is no longer required because there might be no fiat left?
Absolutely. So if you're talking like over a time span of more than 10 years or maybe more than 20 or 30 years, I think all of our money will be digital, and I think Bitcoin is the only viable solution. I hope that it goes in this direction. I think we are seeing like the also like the beginnings of CBDCs coming. There's a lot of discussion going on in Brussels, so in Europe for the digital euro. But over the long term, Bitcoin will be like the asset to own, and maybe it will back some currencies in the future. So we are seeing like also the beginnings there with El Salvador. I think the Bitcoin bonds are coming into fruition now, or in the next year. There are also like other countries in the pipeline. What you can like hear on Twitter. And I think this development is just the beginning. So once you really grasp what Bitcoin really is, I think there's no coming back. So what also we see as a company from our customers, we see that a lot of people are selling like real estate, gold, assets like stocks and ETFs to go into Bitcoin. And it's just the beginning. So once you buy like 2 or 3% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, it performs good. It becomes a bigger part of your portfolio. You become more comfortable with it. And I guess it's a one-way street. So Bitcoin will grow in the future. I think it will have some like price swings. We will see price swings in the future too, but overall it goes up in the right direction, I guess.
So when you imagine that kind of future where Bitcoin is basically the standard, and there are no more people left to onboard to Bitcoin, what do you think can 21 Bitcoin offer? Like, do you have like it's a really long term thing, and as a CEO, you might be now concerned more like the next 5 years, and there will be like billions of people joining in the next 10 years. Like the business you are in is basically a really big one, but what is after that? Do you have any imagination what Bitcoin exchange and can do in that realm, in that era?
Yeah, I guess it's hard to predict what will happen really, but I think we all are also seeing like the beginnings of that with, for example, the Lightning Network. There are more business models developing over the last year on the second layer technologies. We are seeing like a lot of startups there, particularly over in the US. So, for example, podcasting is a really nice example. Really going away from the traditional model, like after advertising and have like ads in your podcast, to really go to value for value and streaming like money. And I guess this is just one example. There will be so many new business opportunities that we cannot even imagine now. And everyone. If more people have like a Bitcoin in their wallet and in their possession, there will be the need for like you have hire, for example. So you need to you maybe want to pass Bitcoin to your kids. So there are not many great solutions out there in Europe, for example, right now. I think this will also be like a really good and long-term service that is needed. Also, like how you can store your Bitcoin. So easy multi-signature wallet solutions where you can have like one trusted party. Maybe if you lose one of your keys, I think this will also be one really exciting new business model that will pop up over the next years.
Yeah, you just mentioned self custody, and I'm quite active with orange billing everybody I know, and I get most of them to buy Bitcoin. I get most of them even to buy Bitcoin quite aggressively because they understand it. But a lot of them don't come to the point that they're actually self custodying. And I have a lot of questions about that. Like, first of all, you talked about the hurdles back when you first wanted to buy Bitcoin, and it was not easy enough because if it would be easy, maybe you would have already bought it really, really early on. Now it's way easier, the whole journey. What has to be improved in the whole Bitcoin journey from I have euros in my bank account to I have full Bitcoin in self custody? What do you think are the major catalysts that my grandma also buys it and puts it on their self custody?
Yeah, good question. Maybe just one remark. I think we are also we are still very early. I think if you are in Bitcoin, you often forget that. So you live in this bubble where everybody knows everything about Bitcoin and self custody. But if you look over that, not many people, as you mentioned, are there yet. And I think that the greatest hurdles are like the technicality of it, maybe. So hardware wallets are really good for storing Bitcoin like securely, but only if you really understand what you are doing. So if you most of the people are not like they don't have it like others or maybe let's say it otherwise. Most of the people currently own like or have bank accounts or have like their trading accounts with a broker where they have stocks in it. and they really know if they lose their password, okay, they can call their bank or their broker, and they will reset their password, and they have not lost like their money. I think this is also like a shift that needs to happen. So with self-custody comes a lot of ownership and sovereignty, but also a lot of risks. And this is quite new. I think Bitcoin is like, the first and only asset which you can really, really own. And this will take, years, I guess, from a social perspective, and also from like making it easier. So if you look over the last 10 years, it got a lot easier. So like with new inventions like seed phrases, where you can really write down 12 or 24 words and abstract the private key, and you don't have to do like a long list of letters and numbers. But I guess this really needs to be maybe over the next years brought onto a next step. There are a lot of projects out there. They have some good ideas how to abstract it. Maybe with, for example, some social logins, for example. So you have your Google account. Maybe you can abstract it in this way that you can really like have like a multi-signature setup with different accounts, or maybe like communities. Like Fedimint is a great project. But I guess this needs some experimentation and some iteration to make it really easy and better for future Bitcoin holders. Yeah.
I also think that, like, who knew like 20, 30 years ago, I don't know when email was invented, how to send an email, what's on WhatsApp. And when you just look at how fast it went, how easy it is. Now we have the passwords, we have two-factor authentication. Everybody knows how to reset the password, and it's so easy. And if you talk with like a grandma, granddad, they're like, "What password? Multi-factor?" It's completely out of their realm. And maybe that's a look in the future where managing keys and multi-sigs and self-custody will be completely normal, except maybe like older people that are just not into it, or like need just a longer time frame. And I think we will get there, but it just needs a lot of education and a long time of trying out new things, inventing new technologies, and onboarding a lot of people. And I quite like that. Like, if an exchange does not advocate for self-custody, it's a complete red flag for me. I will not touch it. Like, advocating for self-custody, that will quite like, but I still think that a lot of your clients might hold the Bitcoin on 21bitcoin. Do you know, or can you share, I don't know if you can even share that, percentage, how many of your customers directly go with auto transfer, with the auto transfer feature, do self-custody, and some, how many stay, or how many are like never transferred any amount of money out of 21bitcoin?
Yeah, I can share some general insights there. So I think our customer base is really different from other exchanges. I know some internal stats from other exchanges. I won't say names, but they have like less than 5% of the people buying their that really self custody and withdraw their assets.
Wow.
So I guess this is really like for the crypto user. They just want to make money, and they buy for speculation. They don't have any like incentive to self custody really. By at 21bitcoin, it is quite different. So we have like over 60% of people are really doing self custody there. Like either have a feature called like auto wallet transfer, where they have, when it turned on, you set like a threshold of Bitcoin, and once the threshold is reached, you get an automatic transfer to your hardware wallet that is added to your 21bitcoin account. And or other people are doing like for every buy. So for every purchase, they're sending to their wallet. You can also use it like really non-custodial 21bitcoin. You have like one button. If you turn it on, the whole experience is non-custodial. But our strategy is to make it like really easy to buy your first Bitcoin. So in our eyes, you don't have to have like a self-custody wallet from the minute one when you buy 15 euros in Bitcoin, because it is also like a hurdle for a lot of people to really, if you just buy like 15 euros to really get order like a hardware device which costs more than 100 euros, and you lose a lot of people there. But our strategy is like to have like, so we see 21bitcoin like as a partner, not just the exchange where you buy Bitcoin, but you're a partner for the long-term journey in Bitcoin. And we try to educate the person on his Bitcoin journey. So we have like a lot of recommendations in the app. We also plan to make it like dynamic. So for example, if a person buys 50 euros of Bitcoin every month and doesn't withdraw it, so we have like on the home screen we have some recommendations, and specifically for that person we would recommend, hey, look at this article where we describe self-custody and non-self-custody. We describe what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and then how you can set it up with 21bitcoin. So you really get a tailored approach to your Bitcoin journey, and educate people about the advantages and also disadvantages, so they feel safe doing self-custody. I guess this is really, really important.
Do you see any effects like with the more education and maybe also with events like, okay, it was almost like it feels like it was 10 years ago, FTX and Celsius, but did you saw any trends there? Did people actually was like, oh, should the exchanges are not the best place to keep Bitcoin, I should move it over to self-custody? Did you saw any trend?
Yeah, for sure. So we saw two trends. The first one was like people were stacking like mad. So price went down, and every time price really dips, people are using like the SEPA instant rails and send us like flood us with money, and are really buying the dip. And also like in these events, we see a great outflow of coins from 21bitcoin, which is also really good. So we don't see this like as we are not like using customer funds like other exchanges. For us, it's not a problem. For us, it's a liability if we have Bitcoin that we have to custody for our clients. So we encourage, our business model is to encourage users to withdraw, so that we don't have this liability, for example. So I guess it's pretty aligned from our business model and also the users that we have on 21bitcoin.
Yeah, if you don't do anything with the Bitcoin from the customers that you don't own, of course, then it's a work that you are doing for your customers, and it's like a liability, as you said. So, but with 60% withdrawing, 40% or not, like around about that number, you still have a lot of Bitcoin, I guess. Just from a personal point of view, I struggled a long time how to set up my key management, how to set up everything. How does this look for like a regulated company for so many customers? Like who who has the keys without putting a target on someone's back?
Yeah, basically, so that's I guess that's not feasible for a startup to really do like these kind of custody themselves. So we are using like a technical contractor. We're using BitGo.
Mm,
It's one of the most known and securest custodians in the crypto space. They also got like 1 month ago, I think, the BaFin registration, so which is a really good sign also for Europe and for our clients. And yeah, they also have like insurance policies, $250 million. They're doing like segregation of wallets. 100% is in cold storage. So I guess this is the safest way that we can offer our clients. But of course, so the 40% are not static, that are not withdrawing. So we also see like the longer people are with us, the more they are withdrawing then or start to withdraw also Bitcoin. Because they're also in their Bitcoin journey. Of course, not everybody of them, but that's something we're seeing and which we also actively are promoting. And then we have like newbies that are coming to us and they start stacking. And so like you have this rolling 40% around that. Yeah.
How did you resist the, let's say, seduction of altcoin casino? Because I guess as an exchange, you can make a ton of money just letting people buy and sell every day some altcoins and gamble their money. I guess I did not look in any numbers, but I guess with FTX and all the others, we see that it could be a viable business. Why did you decide to not do it and resist these seductions?
At the first place, it's for me personally, it's a morality issue. I would not like to sell these kinds of investment scams, in my opinion. So most of these coins are really like scams, and I could not sleep well in the night if we would sell them. And so basically, that's the first rule. And also the way we structured our business and business model is like not bringing people like to trade a lot, but to have like long-term relationships. And what we are also seeing, we have done like some comparisons with Coinbase data, because this data is of course publicly available because they're listed on the stock exchange. And we compared like the numbers of the average transaction size that an active customer makes per month. And I think we have like 3 or 4 times higher numbers, which really say a lot that Bitcoin investors are like more confident in their investment and in their savings vehicle, and they put more money in, which makes us more money. So we don't have to like drive people to trade and in and out and in and out because there are larger sums. And also like we think our business relationships with our customers will take longer. So most of the crypto customers, they are only doing like in trading in the hype phases. So when the bull run hits, they really make a ton of money. But on the other side, they really lose their revenue streams. I think I saw like a headline from Bitpanda in Austria. They lost around 80% of their revenue from 2021 to 2022, which is quite a lot. And we don't see that. We are just growing. And when the price dips, people are buying like mad. And I guess this is a really great differentiator of us.
That's crazy. That's really cool because then you have basically an exchange that is from the business model also set up in a low time preference mode, which focuses on the long-term business relationship with their clients. And you said that the tips, like when there are tips, the customer are buying way more than usual. So I guess tips are the strongest strongest times for 21 Bitcoin, like in financial terms, or do you see almost no fluctuation? Like what?
Yeah, we have like a really great baseline because a lot of customers are doing like the weekly or monthly DCA. We have a lot of customers that are also doing like daily. like buying 15 euros daily or more.
Wow.
But we see, of course, we see price swings heavily, influence the volume. So if price spikes or price goes down, we see more inflow and people buying. Yeah, and we don't have we don't have any sells. So I think our buy side percentage is around 98% most of the time. So this also shows that we have like long-term buyers.
I saw something unrelated to 21 Bitcoin. I saw just right before the podcast, I also checked your Google and I saw a LinkedIn of yours also, and I saw your CV, and you studied economics in Austria. How far away is that from Austrian economics?
Good question. Yeah, it's you could imagine that if you study economics in Austria, that maybe one lesson is about Austrian economics, but I've never heard about it in my studies. So the
Wow.
first time I got into contact with Austrian economics was really when I fall down the rabbit hole with Bitcoin. So there were no like classes of Austrian economics in Vienna.
Was it difficult for you to go down the rabbit hole because you got the teaching from a different kind of economics perspective?
Yeah, I heard that from other people, but in my personal experience, it was not that hard. I think I have been always a very curious person, and I did not take everything for granted. So it was not really hard for me. So once I saw like these mismatches and also these inconsistencies with the Keynesian model and the fiat economics, I did not struggle that much, I guess.
When you are in your family or friend circle, or maybe you meet someone at a party that are not into Bitcoin, what core message or what core principle are you giving them about Bitcoin? What message do you want to give them with them on the way?
Yeah, I don't talk so much about Bitcoin in my private life. I did that a few years ago, so I think everybody experiences it when once they fall into the rabbit hole, they want to like shout it into the world. But nowadays, I don't talk about it so much in my private life. I really try to focus more on the field side. So, if you talk to people nowadays, everybody feels the inflation. Everybody has like some experience that something is not quite right. They don't know what really is it. But I think this is the best angle to tackle it. And a lot of people, of course, come to me and ask me about Bitcoin. Then it's a other conversation because if they have questions, I'm open to answer it. But I quit like pushing Bitcoin to everybody. So I really focus on the fiat side and also on the inflation and the outlooks for the euro and yeah, I think these topics are really resonate with a lot of people.
That's interesting because I also went through this journey and I talked with almost everybody now on the podcast. On you're my 12th guest actually. So almost everybody went through that journey of wanting to orange pill just everybody in the first 1 to 2 years.
Mhm.
And then them stepping a little bit back and saying, oh, actually, Bitcoin is also succeeding without me. If they don't get it, I don't care to a certain extent. uh, and I made I'm with my clear name, Robin Seyr, my actual name. Everybody in my family, everybody in my friend circle, everybody, even at work and everywhere I go, knows I'm that Bitcoin guy. Uh, so I don't have to say Bitcoin to people are bringing it up naturally, and I'm, as you said, standing there for questions and trying to put the conversation in the right light. But sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes it's when especially when we're talking about the fiat system and inflation and how bad everything is, it's sometimes really hard to not bring up Bitcoin. It's still sometimes like I just want to shout, "Hey, Bitcoin would be good for that," I guess. But I actually stopped that too. I think it will come naturally, and I start seeing more and more interest in Bitcoin since the start of December. Also from friends and the families, also on X. I don't know. Maybe you can talk about that also because you also have an X presence personally and with 21bitcoin. And it's now the 20th of December where we are recording. And usually I get right around 1 million impressions for a month. And I have now almost 2.5 million impressions for December only. I did not do anything quite different. Do you see any data from your X channel or maybe also from the exchange data you see that December is different this time around?
Definitely. So I think all of our measures, new users, like volume, like website views, also like Instagram reach, is all time high, on an all time high. And I guess so. Interest is really bigger now. This is also due to price, I guess. So we pumped a lot this year. So we have like $44,000 now, and we definitely see that also. On X, I'm not really that active actually. So I have like my 3 days in a month where I like post nonstop and then leave it for 3 weeks. So I need to be more consistent there. But I think it's also really a time killer. I don't know how you can manage it with your job and also like posting there and have like discussions. Most of the time it's really interesting, but sometimes you think like you look at it and 2 hours fly away, and you thought I need to do it this thing now.
Yeah, I almost everything I do is scheduled. This is one bad thing about it. I cannot tag anyone. This is the one thing I still look for one tool where I can tag people nicely in the scheduling app, because as you said, it gets really massive. You go on Twitter so many times and you are posting, then you're reading, then you're answering, and it's a time killer definitely. And I like to do the scheduling, because when I schedule all my posts, when I go on Twitter, I can use it normally and I can interact with the replies. I can interact in the notifications with the messages, and also on the feed I will look what's happening right now. It's a nice thing to see. Like I curated my feed completely Bitcoin only. I don't get any altcoins. I don't rarely get anything outside of Bitcoin. Elon Musk posts I always get. That's the only thing outside of Bitcoin, I think. And it's a nice way to catch up with what's going on, but it's also a time killer, as you said. And scheduling, I can also recommend that to you as a person, Daniel. It's amazing how great this is if you have a day in a week where you schedule the tweets ahead. Is just like if you have 3 days, you can take those tweets and just put it out for 3 weeks.
It's just more focused.
Yeah. So I like that. I have an end routine, but before the end routine, I would like to ask one different question, because as a founder of a company, I think you also get approached by newspapers, by mainstream media outside of the Bitcoin bubble. I guess, I don't know if this is
Yeah.
right. How different are my questions from them?
Totally different. So they have a lot of questions about the validity of Bitcoin. So is it really a real investment? So you're really making money with like selling Bitcoin. How can you do that? And yeah, you really have like customers that are over 60. So yeah, so I get a lot of questions about these things. And yeah, so they're different, but once you talk with them, they really you see like the light bulb going on when you talk to them a little bit longer, and it's really interesting if how Bitcoin is seen also like by the traditional news outlets, and how different we are in this space.
Can you share a percentage? How many people are investing with 21 Bitcoin over 60?
Uh,
Is it an amount that's significant, or is it just a number that's okay? There are people in over 60.
No, I would say it's significant. So we have a lot of customers over the age of 45. So I think this is also like our best group for revenue, if you would say it like this. And yeah, we have a lot of people that are quite old, like pensioners. What's really interesting. So I guess also the shift comes from there. So in the Bitcoin space, we all talk about like how they're giving their wealth to the next generation, and they will come to Bitcoin. But what we are seeing is that also like a little bit older people are getting started, or get started to have like an interest in Bitcoin, and have like some percentage of the portfolio allocated to it.
It's crazy. We are having an end routine in the podcast where the previous guest asks the next guest a question. The previous guest, without knowing who's the actual guest, the previous
Mhm.
guest asked, "Did you notice any patterns from your pre-Bitcoin life that prepared you for your Bitcoin life now?"
Good question. Any routines,
Yeah, patterns.
patterns?
You can take the question wherever you want because it does not come from me, and you can interpret it as you wanted to interpret it.
Yeah, I think in the beginning I already said that I was like a really curious person. So from the beginning, I can remember when I was just a little kid. We had a computer at home without any internet, and yeah, I every day I unplugged it, and I really got in. Yeah, put it together, and yeah, did like so many things with it. So because I was so interested and there was no information, so I couldn't get any information. What is like a hard drive? How does it work? And I just unplugged it and went with the screwdriver, and then yeah, took a look at the parts and the magnets, and I erased everything was what was on there. And I think this is something which really prepared me for also like grasping Bitcoin, and being curious, and studying it, and really go deep in there, listening to a lot of podcasts, reading a lot of books and articles. Yeah, I guess I would say this is something which really helped.
Did you also then get into mining or running your own node at some point when you are like in that computer aspect?
Yeah, I ran a lot of different nodes. I crashed a lot of them. So now I'm running Umbrel because it's just I don't have any time now to really do like management of nodes. But I think I ran every distribution that is out there, like Raspberry Blitz, MyNode, Umbrel, all of them.
Yeah.
Because I really like it. I'm coming from a tech background a little bit, so I also went into a technical school. I did some programming there. I'm not a good programmer though, but I like to really get into the details, and look into systems, and that's just fun for me.
Ah, really nice. Where can people find out first more about you, and second more about 21bitcoin? Where's the best points people can reach it?
I would say both on X or Twitter, however you want to call it. So our company is named 21bitcoin app there, and my name is Daniel 21BTC there. Just hit my DMs. Contact me if you need anything or have questions. I'm not so active there, as I said, but usually I reply.
It's really funny. I asked that question now 12 times to all my guests, and everyone has the same answer. Everybody's on X. It seems to be the standard of the Bitcoin community.
Yeah, it's the town square. It's the place to be. So we also hired like people from there, and
Wow, nice.
everything happens there.
Great talking with you, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you too.